Hi and welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally. I'm at the 2022 New World Metals Conference in Perth, and I'm having a bit of an education today. I'm learning quite a bit about rare earths. Okay, so lithium's been a bit of the baby of the market for quite some time. Everybody knows all about lithium. People have been finding lithium on their ground and telling everybody about it, and their share prices go. But of late, rare earths seem to be the new sweetheart, let's say. So what are rare earths? Well, apparently they're a suite of elements, around 17 different elements all together. They come at once, but I don't know too much about it. I tell you who does know something about it though, is Eddie Rigg of Argonaut.
So rare earths are 17 different metals in a family, out of a family of minerals. And these minerals are known as from monzonite, from basanite, from xenotine, from clays, which we hear about these clays particularly in China, and also a mineral called apatite. And so within these types of minerals, there is 17 different metals, and they're often categorized into light and into heavy categories.
All right, so 17 different metals in this suite.
Yeah.
And at the moment, everybody's sort of saying, we've got rare earths, so have a look at us.
Yeah.
But there are particular ones that are more, for want of a better term, more useful in the electronic space.
In energy transition,
yeah.
So basically, to have an electric vehicle, you need to have a permanent magnet. And if you don't have a permanent magnet, you can't generate the electricity to drive your car. So that's what's been driving. So it's magnets, but also these permanent magnets, which no matter what goes up and down and how much heat and speed, that these magnets keep having complete integrity. If they don't have integrity, the vehicles stop and start. So the ones which are really well known are the light ones. So every magnet has a high percentage of two of these metals, right? And I just want to quote, because sometimes these names are, they're a fair mouthful, right?
Yeah.
So one's praseodymium, and the other one is neodymium. And everyone more remembers the code, PR and ND. You see, because no one can pronounce the words. So you see PR and ND, and those two elements are in every magnet, right? And then to have permanent magnets, to have integrity, what we need to do is you need to add some heavy elements to those. And those two heavy elements are dysprosium and terbium. But they're very small quantities. Terbium is very rare and very expensive. These four metals are all in deficit today. And we've got this growth in EVs, it's a real concern. And so that's an issue for us. These four elements make up 30% of the volume of rare earths today, which is sold into a final product, but they're over 90% of the value of rare earths. So that's where it's at. That's the game for us. Yeah. And we got Linus, we know already, are in the PR and ND side of the industry. But at the moment, dysprosium is basically controlled out of China, and there's been other people trying to develop these heavy rare earths projects.
Yeah. So, like you were saying, the PRND, everybody's all over that. That's springing up all over the place.
Yeah, but it is springing up, but it's not that easy to develop. Yeah. We've got one mine, commercial, outside of China, and that's Mount Weld. We've got one mine, which is commercial outside of China.
And the other ones, should investors start looking at those other ones you mentioned coming out in...
Yeah, so we don't know how the Ionic Clays are going to play out.
Yeah.
We know that in China, the vast majority of production comes from clays. We think potentially the Ionic Clays could be something which is really special for us. But there's one other thing I'd like to put to you, and this is a really interesting point. Argonaut uses a guy called Professor Dudley Kingsnorth to give us technical advice. He is a specialist in this space. He's worked in it for more than 20 years, in fact more than 30 years. He recently attended a NATO conference on critical minerals, and rare earths came up. And when people go, there's 50 years of dominance by China, how does the rest of the world catch up? Because they fiercely protect their IP. And the comment was made, there's 5,000 PhDs in China working on rare earths, and the total rest of the world, number of PhDs working on rare earths is 50.
Yeah.
So it's a long way to go, right? Yeah. But we do think if we can actually at least concentrate up rare earths as a starting point, so there's concentration, and then there's solvent extraction to separate the metals out, if we can develop some of that technology, ANSTO has some of this technology, but it hasn't really been used for a long time. There's a chance, right? But the world demands diversity of supply and security of supply. We cannot be all reliant on China providing us the products.
Well, a wise Chinese man once said, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. So it appears that our industry has taken that first step.
Yeah, that's right. There is this happening, and it was great to see the Australian government help funding the monzonite separation plant at Luca, and we're also seeing Hastings coming forward as well. So it's great to see. We need it. The world needs it. Yeah, sure, China's a great supplier, but end of the day, China's, as I said to you, they're absolutely fiercely protecting their IP. They're not looking to sell us rare earths, they're looking to sell us the finished product.
Yep.
So if you want to buy a speaker, you're going to buy the whole speaker from China. They won't just find you the rare earths, which creates the vibration, causes the volume.
Yep.
And if you want to get a magnet for your electric vehicle, they're going to sell you the whole unit, not just the...
Yeah, fair enough.
That's what it is. So it's a bit like France in their wine. They won't sell you grapes, but they'll sell you a bottle of wine. So there you go.
All right, Eddie, thanks very much, mate.
Great, thanks Wally, thanks.
So I've always said, if you want to know anything, ask an expert. You don't get a better expert than that. And also while we're here, we were talking to a few companies, asking them about their projects, their rare earth projects, where they are, what they're doing, why they're doing it, and what has really sort of put this market, a rocket under this market. All right, so as we were saying before, you've been in the space for quite some time.
Yep.
Now they're just seeing the rare earths coming into their own, so to speak.
Yep.
What does that sort of tell you about the rare earths? And is it just they're not a flash in the pan? Why weren't they as valuable back then? Why are they valuable now?
Yeah, look, I think there's no question that over the last couple of 18 months, 2 years, we've seen supply chains unsettled. The geopolitical risks are going up. Everyone knows rare earths are all produced out of China. Whilst there's mining and early stage processing done outside of China, it all gets into China. And I think the alarm bells have gone off and everyone's stressed. It goes into military applications, it goes into electric vehicles, which, again, you go back 8-10 years ago when we had the first geopolitical hiccup between China and Japan, the EV evolution wasn't quite there yet, so people sort of didn't quite understand it. So I think all that's coming together. There's been no substitution. You need the neodymium iron boron magnet in an EV. So I think people have finally come to realise that we need alternative supply chains, and these actually form part of our life.
Yeah, what the world's realising is there's a type of deposit where the rare earths can be attached to the clay particles, and it's called an ionic adsorption clay. And the reason that's attractive is that it basically is lower cost processing to extract it, and it looks like that's what we've got.
All right, and so what does that mean really, as far as like the project goes?
Well, what it means is that it's feasible that you could get a project up and running in a quicker time and at lower costs compared to a larger mineral deposit that is still attractive but requires a lot more capital to get going.
All right, no worries. And the particular, out of the suite of rare earths, the particular elements that you're looking at?
Yeah, so rare earth deposits do contain a lot of them, but the ones that are particularly of interest are used in the permanent magnets, things like neodymium and praseodymium. And a bonus of these ionic clay deposits is that they also have a higher proportion of those valuable rare earths, so that's a positive feature as well.
We are different to a lot of the other WA rare earth explorers. We're not the hard rock type explorers. We're specifically focused on the really valuable clay type rare earth mineralisation. We're in southern WA, so tier 1 jurisdiction, within sort of a 100-kilometre radius of Esperance, so we've got fantastic access to infrastructure, both roads, renewable power. There's wind farms in Esperance, there's solar power there, it's abundant, and really good facilities for everything that we need to do in that region. So that's where we're operating out of.
People say these clay deposits, they're the ones that they have the more potential.
Look, we certainly think they're going to be immensely valuable projects as the demand for these magnet rare earth metals starts to increase, and forecasters are predicting in the next 5 years there's going to be a 15% supply deficit, and that's if all of the projects that are in production and projects that are planned to come online. So with everything getting built, there's still going to be a 15% deficit. Worst case scenario is some of those projects get deferred or don't get built on time or don't produce at their planned production rate. where's the supply deficit going to be? Probably well north of 15%. So that is going to have really positive impact on prices. Prices are going to go a lot higher, and we want to be a part of that space and think that we've got meaningful projects in a fantastic location, very high grade, and immense potential.